But right now you do have to come with us, and I do have to put you in handcuffs. So turn around for me.
You have to put me in handcuffs?
I
Yeah, I probably have to make all transports on bringing in custody.
You know we're going to win this. It's okay.
Yeah.
Is based on real-life criminal cases. Some names, details, and events have been altered for privacy and dramatic purposes. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, certain information may not be factually verified. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Some of these cases remain unsolved to this day.
The Jesse Butler case. Oklahoma teens, shocking crimes, and the controversial deal that set him free. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Murder Mistress, where we take a deeper look into the darkest corners of true crime and the justice system that sometimes feels anything but just. Today's story is one that has shaken an entire community in Oklahoma. It is a story of violence, manipulation, and heartbreak, and one that has left many questioning how a system meant to protect victims could allow a violent offender to walk free. Before we continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe to Murder Mistress. Your support helps the channel grow and allows us to continue bringing you the most compelling, detailed stories in the world of true crime. Now, let us dive right into the case. The small, quiet community of Shawnee, Oklahoma, found itself at the center of a horrifying investigation when police body camera footage captured the arrest of 19-year-old Jesse Butler, a teen whose crimes against multiple young women would soon become the subject of outrage across the state. The footage is raw, emotional, and deeply disturbing. It shows Butler sobbing as officers take him into custody, moments after they uncovered evidence of assaults and abuse that stretched over months, possibly years. At first glance, Butler appeared to be a typical Oklahoma teen. Athletic, charming, the kind of young man parents might have once trusted around their daughters. But beneath that surface was something far more sinister. Reports from investigators describe a pattern of controlling behavior, violence, and sexual assault, all targeting girls he had dated. The crimes came to light after one of his victims, only 16 years old at the time, bravely came forward. She told detectives about the escalating violence, how arguments would turn into physical assaults, how Butler would threaten her, strangle her, and later beg for forgiveness as if nothing had happened. Her courage to speak out opened the door for other victims to tell their stories, and soon, a chilling picture began to form. When police executed a search warrant and arrested Butler, the body cam footage captured a scene that has haunted many who watched it. Butler appeared remorseful, crying, shaking, saying he did not mean to hurt anyone. But for investigators, and especially for the victims, those tears felt hollow. They knew what he had done, and they knew the fear he had caused. Prosecutors wasted no time in building their case. They charged Butler with multiple felonies, including assault, rape, and strangulation. Each charge carried significant time behind bars, and together, the crimes could have resulted in a 70-year prison sentence. For the families of the victims, it seemed like justice was finally on its way. But then came a shocking twist. Despite the severity of his crimes, Butler was granted a plea deal under Oklahoma's youthful offender statute. This legal mechanism, designed to give certain young defendants a second chance, was originally meant for teens who commit lesser offenses, not violent crimes like rape and assault. Yet somehow, Butler's legal team argued successfully that he qualified. Under this deal, Jesse Butler would not face a lengthy prison sentence. Instead, his charges were effectively reduced, and his time behind bars was counted as served through his pretrial detention. His total prison term? 0 years. The reaction from the public was swift and furious. Families of the victims described the decision as a betrayal. One mother said that her daughter's courage to testify meant nothing when the system turned around and gave her abuser freedom. Another survivor described the outcome as a slap in the face to every young woman who dares to speak up. Even within law enforcement, there was frustration. Officers who had worked tirelessly to gather evidence, who had watched the body cam footage, who had interviewed victims, were left questioning how the justice system could allow such leniency. To them, Butler was not a troubled teen who made a mistake. He was a predator who manipulated, assaulted, and nearly destroyed several lives. Court documents show that Butler's defense team painted him as a young man capable of rehabilitation. They argued that his actions were the result of immaturity, poor decision-making, and emotional instability, not inherent violence. They said that sending him to prison would ruin his future and that he deserved the chance to rebuild his life. But for the victims, that reasoning was incomprehensible. Their lives were already ruined, their trust shattered, their peace of mind gone. And while Butler walked free, they were left to pick up the pieces of the trauma he caused. As body camera footage of Butler's arrest continues to circulate online, people across the country have been revisiting the case, questioning the boundaries of the youthful offender law. How far should forgiveness and second chances go when the crimes are this brutal? Should age truly determine punishment when the actions are those of an adult capable of monstrous harm? The outrage even reached social media platforms like TikTok and X, where thousands of users voiced their disbelief. Many pointed out that the victims, also teens, did not receive the same compassion or second chance. Instead, they were left with permanent emotional scars, while Butler's record would eventually be sealed under the provisions of his plea deal. One detail that disturbed many was how calculated Butler's actions appeared to be. Testimony revealed that he had used emotional manipulation to isolate his victims from friends and family. He convinced some that his violence was a form of love or that his jealousy was proof of how much he cared. These psychological tactics are hallmarks of predatory behavior, and they paint a much darker portrait than that of a naive young man who made mistakes. During sentencing, prosecutors argued that Butler's crimes were not random or impulsive. They were deliberate, targeted, and sustained. Each victim told a similar story of being charmed, controlled, and eventually brutalized. The evidence was overwhelming. Yet despite this, the judge approved the deal, citing the recommendation of the defense and an assessment that labeled Butler as low risk to reoffend. The victims and their families could only watch in disbelief as he walked out of the courtroom. For many, it felt like justice had been denied. Cases like Jesse Butler's highlight a troubling gray area in the justice system, one where the desire to rehabilitate young offenders sometimes overshadows the need for accountability. In Oklahoma and beyond, lawmakers have started to re-examine how these statutes are applied, especially when it comes to violent crimes. As for Butler, his release does not erase what happened. The victim stories remain a painful reminder that the scars of abuse do not fade easily. Their bravery, however, continues to inspire others to speak out. And while the justice system may have failed them in sentencing, their voices have not been silenced. Body camera footage from that day, the image of Butler's tear-streaked face as officers cuff him, has become symbolic. To some, it shows a young man overwhelmed by the weight of his actions. To others, it represents the performative remorse of someone who cried only when caught. Regardless of interpretation, one thing is clear. This case has reignited a national debate about justice, fairness, and what it truly means to protect the innocent.